Go ahead.
Well, hello everybody, and welcome to another question and answer. And I know there's a lot of people out there who are hurting, and there was talk maybe that we shouldn't do this, but I think it's great that we are doing this, because it dawns on me that upholstery is one of the happy things that we do in life, right? So I wanted to just express to everybody, we're feeling the same type of pain here in Massachusetts. I know a lot of people from all over the place, all over the world are watching us, and really the world is affected by this. The whole world is affected by this. So it just dawned on me that it was kind of an idea that I had for this question and answer. Feel free to ask questions, by the way, as I talk, to show people maybe who are stuck at home, a lot of people are, how they can maybe spruce up their living room, their furniture, their upholstered furniture, with some basic home tools, and some techniques that will make you feel better. You'd be surprised at what you can do to a piece of furniture to make it look better yourself at home without a professional upholsterer. So I wanted to show you that. So, but before I do that, I want to talk about, we've got a lot of activity from last week, so I wanted to catch up on some of the things some of the comments that we got over the week. And so I'll get right to it. And of course, as usual, if you have questions, just ask. And if we have time, for all of you who know Jimmy, we may call Jimmy on the phone to see what he's up to, see what he's doing in the world of arts and crafts, because he's a big arts and crafts guy, So let's get to the first question here, or comment. This is from Blue Manu, I guess. And this is, this is about the live upholstery talk last week. So she says, or he says, I recently reupholstered a 1953 Cruel or mid-century modern chair. That's a tough chair to do, by the way. This, by the way, after watching your videos religiously over a full year or more. Posted pictures of it on Facebook. Okay, so I think Patrick might be able to get this up on Facebook while I'm talking about it. A friend was so impressed and said, I really need to show her how to do that. So
that's Lauren. She's on the chat now.
Oh,
she sent us a video, which I'm going to play too.
Oh, great. So I replied.
If you want to do that right off the top, we can.
Sure, go ahead. Put it up while I'm, hold on, let me just finish this comment.
There's another picture there too.
I replied, I learned from YouTube. She said, there was no way I learned that online. So she said, I posted your YouTube channel. True story. I found you way back when you had only 1 or 2 videos. Wow. Because that's really amazing.
Cell phone.
Yeah,
video.
we were using cell phone videos. We've learned a lot since then. We've really, I think, have a good quality product now, both on YouTube and on the online classes. Thanks for all you do. This is a dream come true for me to have been able to start and master this. This is wonderful. I'm amazed that she's done this. And Patrick, do you have those up yet?
I play the video now. You can. The microphone's still on, so you can talk over it.
So the video, is that video showing how her doing it, or just the finished product?
Yeah, I looked at a little bit of it. It's like a fast motion. I don't know if it's the whole product. I'll have to look this up.
Are you sure that you got the right one up there? Because somebody else sent one.
Well, who sent that comment on YouTube? The one you just read from YouTube.
This is somebody named
Oh, I think that is Lauren. I think that's the same person.
Oh, okay.
I think so. I'm not sure.
As a new on Facebook, she's Patricia. She's Patricia.
Okay. That's Patricia.
That's somebody else.
I'm confused now because.
So what you're seeing now.
I should have told you that first comment on YouTube corresponds to one of the other comments we got, so it might be a different one.
So the video that people are seeing now.
You might as well go to the chat that the 2 that I sent you.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll do that now.
So the one they're seeing now is thanks for the instruction and videos. Here's my progress. This is those dining room chairs.
Yeah, there we go. That's the one.
So
I'm gonna play that right now.
How long is that, Patrick?
Not sure. We'll see. Here we go. We can talk over it though.
So this is also amazing. This is somebody else who this is actually Patrick. Who is it?
That's Lauren.
That's
That's I know
Lauren.
for a fact.
That's
Yeah, that's the
Lauren.
one
Yeah,
I
that's
took
the
from
one.
I
Facebook.
don't know how, I think she has 6 of these, but she's doing a couple of things. Here, I see 3 pictures.
It's up now,
It's up
playing.
now,
so-
playing.
Okay. She's doing French nails, which French nails, in case people don't know, when you're putting French nails down on a flat surface, and you're chaining them together, that's harder than putting them even on a panel, because you're looking at it from a different angle.
Why don't you come back here and check out the video? You haven't even seen it.
Wow. She's moving fast. I wish I was that fast. Is that leather she's doing? Let just people watch that.
Well, that microphone. Yes, speak up.
It's just okay. She look how she marked. She got that tip from the marker tip. I want to see her put nails in. Okay, I'm caught up. Let me see.
Oh, there's Jimmy.
Did she put the nails in?
There we go.
Did she put the nails in?
You see it?
Okay.
I'll keep playing. Go back out there. That's Lauren.
Hey Lauren, wow, that is awesome. You know, and I noticed a couple of tricks. That you did. One of the ones I think we mentioned in one of the videos was to take a marker. You stapled it down, and then you took a marker and you colored the staples with the marker. So I'm going to give you another tip with that. You can do that. You can, believe it or not, you can color the staples before you shoot them in. You know, you don't only have to do one side of them, right? You don't have to do the prongs. You just do the top. Any color that you want. You're getting markers in any color. But I think you did a fabulous job. You tackled a hard job, and you did perfect. Beautiful. Is that still going on, Patrick?
Nope, it's over now. That was impressive.
By the way, I wish I worked that fast in real life. That would solve my labor problems. Anyhow, so yeah, that's great. Are there any comments before we move forward?
Yeah, there are a few comments.
Okay.
There's a lot. They start all the way at the top, Michaela. There's a bunch that you missed.
Well, I mean, there are basically a few people saying hello and hey, what's up. I am awesome says not
Pennywise. Pennywise. Make sure it's the right name, Michaela. Pennywise.
Not much. Bored at home. Everything shut down a bit over a week ago.
Yeah.
Erica says, hello everyone. I spent my entire day just trying to get a delivery spot for online ordering of groceries.
Oh boy.
Pamela says, I got my Misfits Market box today. Never been so excited to see fresh produce. Who cares what it is?
Wow.
Jimmy says,
Oh, Jimmy.
how is everyone? Hope all are busy and doing well. I hope the audience is keeping busy with their projects. Compliments about Lauren's chair. And Lauren says, yes, the maker was an
Marker.
The marker was an afterthought because I could see them on the first one. Now I'm spray painting the staples before I load them in the gun.
Very good. Very good. I do caution you sometimes, you know, when you're using paint or marker on your staples, you don't want to do that too often because sometimes it can jam the gun. But here's another tip. You could take silicone, you know, the silicone spray that's sold, and spray your gun. You should do that frequently anyhow, but you should do that especially if you're using those painted staples. So that's another tip. So, well, we're full of tips. And Jimmy, I want to mention, stay by the phone because we might call you if we run out of things to do. We might call you, but so stay by the phone if you can.
Although I heard Jimmy has that zombie disease, you know, the Walking Dead thing. So I don't know. Hopefully he's all right, right?
Well, yeah, he should be okay. So now
As long as he has coconut hair nearby, he'll be all right.
Yeah, Jimmy, as you know, if you've not tuned in before, Jimmy is one of my first students on the online classes. Actually, he's one of the first students in where I was teaching at my location here in Arlington, and he's really a good guy, and he really loves upholstering, and so he's been doing it for a while. He's got a fondness for coconut hair because he seems to find coconut hair in almost every chair he takes.
It's getting very weird, you know.
I know.
Almost an obsession at this point.
I think he maybe was a Hawaiian in another life or something. But I think what happens with Jimmy, so usually he starts taking a chair down and we get excited because we think it's a horsehair chair and we take it apart and there's a little bit of a, disappointment when the coconut hair starts falling out, And, but it's an ongoing joke now.
Sheds a couple tears, right?
Sheds a couple of tears. It's one time he tried to save his coconut fob. He washed it, but it didn't work out so well. It did at all. So I don't know. I think Jimmy would have some advice on if you're going to wash coconut fiber to reuse on what not to do.
You should grow one of those coconut trees.
Maybe maybe what we could do is ask him about that if we talk to him. But anyhow, so let's get back to this because we do have a lot to talk about. So I'm looking at a Victorian sofa here, and this I think is from Lauren too, Patrick, right?
No, that's from yeah, that one is from Lauren as well. That's her next project.
This is a beautiful. We had a honey of one in here just recently. It looks just like this. He saved me so much time by not filling the cane. She's talking about, I guess, one of the videos. He saved me so much time by not filling the cane holes, and I love that they could always go back to the caning. So yeah, I was showing on one of the videos like how to upholster over caning and trying to keep as much of the holes and the caning too. Why not? Why do you have to rip the caning out if you don't have to? It's just so that someday they might go back to the caning. That was the whole idea. Do it low impact upholstering is what it's called. So then she says, have a great evening and thanks for all the videos. And she says, I'm building up courage to do this one. Do you have a picture of that one, Patrick? I have it up
You
here.
have it there.
Yeah, that's a beautiful Victorian settee.
You walk it up to the camera.
Very nice, very nice. Okay, let's go to some of the questions.
Well, Michaela, read that. There's a couple on there.
I know, I was going to do that.
Okay, we have some live questions or comments.
Ashdown says, tuned in from Ireland.
Hey, there we go.
Hey!
Just came across you recently. Enjoyed the basic fabric cuts lesson. Practicing on a Victorian chair. The side arms are going in at an angle and those cuts are difficult.
Yeah.
Erica says, can you lay a thin piece of foam over a Dacron cover and then put the fabric directly on top, or do I have to take the Dacron off and put the foam down and then recover using Dacron?
It's always a good idea to have except in mid-century furniture sometimes where you really can't add padding. Like some of the Danish chairs, I classify that as mid-century. They're very low profile, and you can't really add padding. That's the only time I could think of not putting a buffer in between foam and fabric. Every other time, like this Victorian sofa, and it depends on the fabric too. If you have watched a lot of the videos, sometimes I make a decision about what type of batting to use as what the fabric is like. So for instance, if you had a lightweight cotton cloth with a white background, you don't want to use cotton because you're going to see the seeds, right? If you have Dacron, bonded Dacron, which is just a very pristine synthetic that's all white, that's what you use for that. If you have a heavy fabric, very heavy fabric, very traditional fabric, you definitely want to use a layer of cotton, things like that. Normally you don't want to go over just foam by itself, so I hope that answers that question. Is there any other live
I
questions?
wonder what part of Ireland
No, not yet.
Ashdown is from.
Ashtown, what part of Ireland, if you don't mind, you could name the county. You don't have to be specific if you don't want to, but we're curious because we've just visited and we have people in our family who are from Dublin, so we were wondering about that.
Erica says the fabric is velvet and is a mid-century piece of furniture. It just needs a little bit of more cushion.
Oh, so read that back to me, Michaela, with the first, sorry.
She asks, can you lay a thin piece of foam over a Dacron cover and then put the fabric directly on top? Or do I have to take the Dacron off and put the foam down and then recover using Dacron?
Now I get what she's saying. The batting, Dacron is a batting in such that manner that you're talking about is not a good idea, because think about it, a Dacron cushion, how you fill a back cushion, for instance, with just Dacron, and how it just kind of falls apart, it just falls down and you can't get it back up. Dacron in this case, it's not a good, you'd better off with cotton at that bottom piece, and then foam, and then the Dacron. So I hope that answers your question. Be careful what type of batting you use for building. I guess that's the point. You know, when you're building a cake, when you're making a cake, especially on a seat, which is going to get a lot of downward pressure, you want to make sure that the batting has oomph. And the batting that doesn't have oomph is the top batting, which is, you know, where the fabric is, you know, under the fabric. So I hope that makes sense. Robert.
From Waterford.
Waterford,
So
wow.
we might have passed through there on our way to Cork.
Yeah,
If we went down
Yeah.
down south and
yeah, it's
well, I
beautiful.
forgot though.
Beautiful. So Robert asked, he's commenting on how to build a slip seat. He just comments, I just did 6 dining room seats last week. I haven't been able to shop in almost 2 weeks. So, yeah, all of us, we're having hard times getting out, and some of us can't get out, and some of us, the supply, I know that the food supply is fine, but I think I've noticed a little slowdown in other supply lines, like somewhat in upholstery. I'm going to have to get a hold of my upholstery guy to ask him what's going on.
Well, unfortunately, we had, I don't know if you want to talk about what we had planned before this happened.
What?
With our own supplies, we were going to launch.
Oh yeah, right. But you know, that's all.
That's coming, it's still coming soon.
Yep.
We're going to have our own supply line, our own
Yep.
kits.
Everything's going to be delayed though, you know, with this. But
I mean, technically we could have launched it, but we know people don't want to be spending money right now, so probably wouldn't have been a good idea.
yeah. So Tim comments on the same how to build a slip seat. He says, nice video, keep up the amazing work, thank you. That, I tell you, those comments keep us going, really. We love that. Diana, she says, she's commenting on stuffing a cushion cheaply and effectively. She says, hi, thank you for showing this. Will you please show me how to correctly hand sew a cushion with that rolled trim? I just don't want it to fray into a hole after I sew it. Can I put fray check on the seam, then hand sew it? Thank you. So awesome. Actually, I might have a chance to show you on this cushion here. Patrick, you can remind me to show Diana on, we can do that live on that cushion when I get to it, okay? And then David, he's commenting on fixing a torn seam cheaply. Oh, I think we just answered her question actually. Let me see. Thanks for showing this information. I think it would be very useful on repairing a chair back. The seam came undone. Also, I would love to learn upholstery as a side business. I think it's a shame how few shops there are now. I actually want to comment on that. Actually, I think that video, I think Diana should go to that video on the YouTube channel, Fixing a Torn Cushion Seam Cheaply. Go to that, and I think that will answer your question. So that's just a coincidence that those two questions were right next to each other. But I did want to comment on how few shops there are, and how I think that's all going to change. I'll tell you why. I think that once we're through this terrible thing that we're going through, I think a lot of people have been home, and a lot of people have been looking at their furniture, and I think the industry's just going to take off. So for all you people who are out there, who are especially those who are more advanced, you guys might have an opportunity here after this is all done, I think, to build a good business in upholstery. I think that more people are going to see the value of their home furniture. I think, like I said, everybody's home, so it's, you know, the furniture's going to be used. People are probably going to want to reupholster the first thing, right?
Yeah, please, spill drinks all over your thing. Yeah.
So I think for anybody out there, anywhere you are, I think might be a good time to hone your skills. Take as many of these classes that we're offering online right now, Broadway Upholstery School. Hone your skills, and maybe you'll have a good little business going. I think, is it Erica that's already professionally doing this, Patrick? What?
Right, I know she's very far along.
A couple of our people, Pat, I'm telling you, these.
We still haven't even shown the pictures from
Yeah. So yeah, you guys might have an interesting opportunity coming up, I think, soon. Okay, Sylvia says, last week we did a little prayer online. She said, thank you for praying for us, much appreciated. You're welcome, Sylvia.
I haven't heard from Sylvia in a while.
And likewise, we hope, you know. Janine says, she says, we showed a sectional on last question and answer. and I'm almost done with it. But it had a very interesting couple of things in it. And she says, interesting about the differences with the sectional. I never thought about it before, so thanks for showing us. So yeah, sectionals are put together a little differently than other furniture. There's some considerations, both in the way it's built and also in the fabric that you use. Like for instance, on a L-shaped sectional, you wouldn't necessarily want to use a plaid because it's impossible to match up the plaid on an L shape. Plain fabric on a sectional, things like that. I think we were just showing different things last week. So thanks Janine. Okay, so I think I'm going to get to this chair now.
Well, we didn't show the Facebook post yet.
Oh, can you show the Facebook post?
That's the other sheet.
That was Patricia, right?
Yeah.
Okay, before we get to that, we do want to mention, Patrick, there are a couple of people have asked to join. Have we caught up with all the people?
Pretty sure. I can check right now.
Okay, so if you want to join that Facebook Upholstery on Broadway, Broadway Upholstery School Facebook forum, we've had a lot of activity on that, and we're really happy about that. But Patricia, she's got these pictures posted of that mid-century chair that she did, which is a very difficult chair. She's got a curved back, and the seat was an upholstered seat, and I think I see a border on it, going all the way around. And she picked a challenging fabric too. She's got a diamond-shaped fabric on there that had to be matched. She did a great job. And this was circa 1953. And do you have that up there, Patrick?
Yes, I do.
That's wonderful. It's just pictures, right?
Yep.
Oh, great. Okay, moving on. Now Jimmy is waiting for us. Maybe what we should do is call Jimmy first, Patrick, or should we do our chair over here first?
I don't know. Should we call Jimmy? I don't know. What do you think, Michaela?
Let's give him a call. Let's see what he's doing. Poor guy. He's at home. He's stuck, and he wants to do something. Maybe
I think his chair is here too, so we're holding it hostage from him,
Well,
right?
that's right. We put him on speakerphone here. We hope that everything's okay at the old homestead, the old Jimmy homestead.
Kevin?
Jimmy, you are.
Is that you?
Yes, that's me. You're live on YouTube.
Am I? Oh,
Yes.
wow. Usually I'm not much live on anything, so.
A zinger as soon as he picks the phone
We
up.
love your little zingers, Jimmy, and we just wanted to let you know that your trial, we officially decided today at Upholstery on Broadway, our judges took a vote.
They were fired.
It was a close vote, but they said we're going to keep, your trial period is over.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Well, who was the swing vote? It wasn't Michaela, or was it Patrick?
It was me. I didn't even want to do it. They forced me.
The lower court was.
Patrick has always had it in for me, Kevin. I didn't want to say anything until now.
It was a close vote, but we got you in there. We heard from our constituents or clients or whatever you want to call them, and they said that they loved you and they want your trial period to be over.
That's great. That's great. I feel like the burden's off me now.
Good. And you know what? The world is your coconut fiber. I mean oyster.
I always say that's Tuesday.
Can you?
I heard the two of you earlier. Don't worry, I haven't forgotten.
We want to ask you what the mistake. You see, we're trying to avoid mistakes. The biggest thing about watching the videos is that people can avoid all the mistakes that we make. So
And Jimmy's the perfect guy to go to for mistakes.
can you tell us what the mistake was in the washing of the? Only your hairdresser knows for sure.
Oh my God.
But
I think that I was pretty careful, knowing that the first time I ever did a project was with the horsehair, and your assistant at the time, Pamela, told me basically how to do it, and to keep it all well washed and make sure it's dried out and everything like that. My dryer's here at my apartment.
wait a minute, you have a dryer.
Yes.
One of those dryers like at the hairdressers?
Well, it's a very warm dryer, a very hot dryer.
Then you put your head under that dryer?
Oh, I would never do that.
No, is it one of those hairdresser dryers? The ones with the ladies sit there. with the curls.
No, but you know what, Kevin? I probably, you know what? I
I
number
think
one,
you've
if
overstood
the weather
your
was
stay.
better, I probably should have let it dry outside. Number one, if anybody ever does it again like that,
Is that your advice, to let it dry in the sun?
I would let it dry in the sun the next time. Anybody who has coconut fiber and the weather is good and you have someplace to really keep it dry, I would suggest you put it outside or put it in, say, for example, in the garage, and I would let it dry naturally out there.
Because-
Spread it out a little bit.
That's a great idea, because what happened was you put it in plastic bags when it was wet, still wet, after you thought it was dried, and we had a very unfortunate problem with mold.
Yeah. I mean, I will. I hadn't done it in a number of years doing that method. I was kind of careful with. I had an idea that the coconut hair, or the fibers rather, weren't as
Vibrant.
strong. They weren't as strong. You
Yes.
can see the difference.
Yes, well, you know, Jimmy, when they find mummified, bodies from Egypt, sometimes the only thing left is the hair. So
Right.
the hair, and sometimes and I think even within the, if you 200 years from now if you had a horsehair chair, a Victorian chair, in 500 years you come back and just left it by itself, the only thing that would be left, the wood would be gone, the webbing would be gone, the only thing left would be the hair, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, and the nails.
And the nails. Hold on, Jimmy. Can you hold
Yeah.
on? Because I think we have either a comment about your amazing performance here today, or somebody that said, "Why did you accept this?" Hold on a second. What is it, Michaela?
This is from Sylvia. Question about sinuous springs. How long do they come? I can only find 19 inches, but I need a 25-inch length.
Yeah, you may have to attach rabbit ears to those, that's an extension that you can use, is rabbit ears or another piece of wire. Now, I don't recommend these as a rule, Jimmy. She's talking about the zigzag springs, but
okay.
I think she has a mid-century furniture that probably has one of the two missing or something. I don't like. If I'm going to custom make a piece, it's always coil springs, 8-way tied. But
Right.
sometimes you have to use those zigzag springs. But she's asking, they do come in rolls, and you have to cut them, and you can get any length if you get the ones in the roll. So I hope that answers her question. So Jimmy, so we're sitting here and we're reading through some of the comments, and most of them are in favor of your amazing, work as an apprentice.
Except for the ones I left.
Except what, Tata?
Except for the comments I left. Those are the
Oh.
ones. We'll mention those.
Well, you know what? I'll remember Patrick when I get back to Kevin.
That's right. You'll have a couple of surprises for him, right, Jimmy?
Oh yes, that wonderful son of yours, Kevin. Yeah, exactly.
Does Jimmy want to know how his chair's doing?
Yeah, Patrick was visiting your chair.
No, I'm socially distancing myself from his
He's
chair.
socially distancing
I haven't even
himself
gotten
from your
near
chair.
it.
Yeah, okay, well, that's all right. That's all right. You know what? I think when that is done, Kevin, because I've been saying, wow, it's been about 3 weeks now since we've done the show, and I just kind of say, God, I hope everything is still there.
Yeah.
I would love to when we get back into it again. It's going to look great, I believe.
It is, and I think, Jimmy, you're getting to a point in your career as an upholsterer that you're entering into definitely the journeyman period where you're good enough and getting fast enough where you could do work for other people, and that.
Yeah. Again, this will be my first job. The chair that we're doing for the show.
Yeah.
And I was more than welcome to it. It's an old friend,
Mhm.
and he actually has 2 other pieces available when hopefully we get this shit started again, and he wants to try to do the other 2.
Well,
So
You
we'll see
got-
how well this prevails, how all
Yeah.
this all works out.
you got work already in line. So we're going to
Yeah.
be doing, Jimmy, unless you have any questions or more comments, do you?
Not right now, no. I mean, I'm just, it's nice to get everybody back. I think, a lot of people at around this time, they're doing a lot of arts and crafts. I think they're catching up with a lot of things at the house with cleaning up and, again, furniture projects and cooking and baking and on it goes. I mean, I know I'm cooking and baking more, and I'm doing a little bit of arts and crafts myself.
You just, wow, you do almost anything. Now, so if, do you see the wing chair that I have out in front of me here? Do you see that?
It's not in frame.
Are you watching? Can you put that, Michaela, can you focus down here? So what, in line of what you just said, more people are at home and, they might be around furniture that looks like this, the kids taking a magic marker and mark the back of the wing chair. And, do you see that, Jimmy?
No, I don't see that, Kevin.
Remember this delay, man.
Oh, there's a delay. Anyhow, well, so.
I did notice the leather chair, though. That was a beautiful job.
Isn't that something?
You know what? I mean, now, you know what? If we had a simple chair to do ever, and we could probably, speed it up, not speed it up like to do, but to show it within a good amount of time to, to show the audience.
Not only did she had 6 of those, Jimmy.
Oh my God!
Yeah, those were dining room chairs.
Well, you know what? I think they are. There is the one I have here in my living room that I did about 3 or 4 years ago, and I'll tell you, those chairs, I love those chairs. Those are reliable. They're solid frames. They are great.
How many pieces have you done in the classes, Jimmy?
I would probably say a good dozen.
Wow, I didn't realize you did that much. What were you
I
doing?
would say about, between 10 and 12. I mean, I've done
Wow.
a couple ottomans, definitely. Actually, I have 5 pieces here in my living room that have redone.
Oh, you've been very prolific. Good for you.
Speaking of which, Jimmy's
And that's
9th
my
and 10th
favorite
class
friend, so
went up there.
It's been about that, a good 10 to 12 over the years.
Oh, Patrick just informed me that your 9th and 10th class went
The
up
arts and crafts chair.
this week, Patrick?
Yep, and next week's the last new class, and then of course, that'll be up forever.
And next week is the last class of your arts and class. So congratulations, Jimmy. You're well on your way to opening up your own shop right next to me. I hope not.
Well, hey, you know what? You know what, Kevin? I this week it's been kind of slow. I mean, again, I'm not doing the upholstery for in a few weeks. But what I'm doing, I'm finishing a curio cabinet at a friend's house.
Good for you, Jimmy. Well, if you want to watch the remaining video, question and answer that we're going to do, I'm going to try to take this chair and make it look better. With just home tools. So if you have a problem, maybe we can solve one and that you have on any furniture. So Jimmy,
Hey, Jimmy, look forward to that new series when you get back. It's still happening.
Yes, I want to see Patrick first thing with a coffee in his hand for me.
That's right,
I already
Jimmy.
got it right here.
That's his coffee. Thanks.
Oh, he's such a whimsical child.
I know. Thank you for talking to us today, Jimmy, and have a good and safe day, all right?
You too now, Kevin.
Okay,
Hey, Jimmy.
Take care. All right, let's get to this.
What a wise guy, huh, man?
Oh yeah, he's the Boston guy. Maybe you guys have seen his first appearance, the Boston Ottoman guy. Do we have any live questions, any comments? No?
Robert checked in.
Hi, Robert.
He left a comment on the latest, one of the videos read.
He did.
Yes,
Well-
you already read it, I think.
Okay. So I want to look at this. Can you see this? The cushion on this? So I'm going to start with the cushion on this. So you're at home. You guys are at home a lot. You're sitting on your cushion. So every cushion, in the upholstery world, what we call is it walks. So every time you sit down, the fabric catches and then it kind of walks along. This cushion's really distorted. It doesn't look so good. I'm going to show you how to fix something like this. I've had videos like this, but I think live it's going to be kind of fun to see what we can do on this. I have no idea what I'm going to find when I open this up. Of course, most cushions have zippers, which is wonderful. People say, oh, the zipper's there for me to clean the fabric. No, it isn't. It's there to make it easy for me to fill, an upholsterer to fill. It's the only reason it's there. Upholstery fabric shouldn't be washed. What you want to do on upholstery, never take the cushion out unless you're adjusting it like I'm going to. It's probably the only reason. but don't do it to wash because upholstery fabric does not do good washed. What you want to do is have it professionally clean if it gets really dirty, or have it upholstered. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the foam out. I'm going to see what's going on with it first. I'm going to reach in. I'm going to pull it from the T's. In this case, this is a T cushion. And I'm going to be careful not to break the zipper. That's a bummer when you break the zipper. Alright. All these little strings attached to it. So let's see what's going on with the front of this cushion, because that's the main concern. So it's got a little, so when you open up the cushion, this cushion, you have a little bit of the Dacron has gone into the front like so, and it's got a bunchy right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lift the Dacron. Try not to rip the Dacron. I'm going to lift the Dacron off. Probably had glue on it at one point. You don't have to re-glue it because it clings to the foam. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to peel it back, and then I'm going to pull it up. Look at that. So now I got a nice edge. Look at that. That's a good idea, right? And then see, you can see how much it's stretched. It came out to here, and now it's down here. I would say keep this part because that's going to help you actually stuff the cushion. So now I'm happy with that front edge. Let me get my cushion again. Make sure that it's ready to accept the foam back. Okay. Pull back just a little bit. Okay, move it like this. And I'm going to take my foam and fold it in half, and I'm going to hold it with one hand. I don't recommend two people fill a cushion. It's a night. Anytime you have a second person trying to help you, what happens is you're going to break the zipper almost every time. You're pulling both ways against one another oftentimes. So what you're going to do, if you can't hold a cushion like that, you could tape it and then break the tape when it's in here. But this is the best way. So I have the cushion exactly folded in half. I'm going to insert it with it still folded. I got my hand on it, and then try to get it as deep in the cushion as possible and then let it go. Then I'm going to flip it around, hit it back like this, and then I'm going to try to get my T's worked. I'm going to try to get the foam into the T's, like so. Okay, flip it around, and do the same thing here. Try to work my Dacron in, and then come this way. This is a nice little fix, you know, and you'd be surprised at what you can do with a cushion and how much better it will look. You'll see by this adjustment. Okay, and I'm pulling this, trying to get it tight, hand in hand, and then I'm going to take my fingers and take the salvage end, and the salvage of the welting should be down like this, okay, and you can reach in and do that. Makes for a better looking cushion. Simple adjustment, and then when you close the zipper, you just want to take your thumb and pull the foam, push the foam in, and the zipper closes easier. Don't try to zipper it up like that because you're going to hold onto the Dacron with the slide. So just push your thumb in and then zip it. It's pretty much. Now you could take little things of Dacron, you know, if you had extra Dacron, and put it in the corners, but this doesn't need it. I mean, look at the difference here. Look at that. Okay, and I'm going to put it in the chair for you guys to look at and see what a difference it makes in the chair. Okay, so we're going to follow me over here, Michaela, to put this down. Let's see what this looks like, see if it's any better. Wow, what do you think, you guys, right? A little adjustment like that. Okay, so that's one adjustment. So one of your kids did a little work, little magic marker work right here. So I'm going to show you how you can fix something like that. Even if it's just temporary, it's going to look better than this. Okay, so a lot of times the outside back of a piece of furniture is in, the fabric's in the best shape. We have a question?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, first, Sylvia says, I missed many of your classes. Been caring for my mom. I hope to catch up soon. Thank you all.
Oh, you're welcome.
Robert says, do you steam the foam? It is neat to watch it go back to new shape mostly.
Yeah. We used to do a lot of steaming of foam, and when I first started, we used to have a steamer. I don't even have a steam. I have an iron that has a steam on it, but I haven't had to steam foam in quite some time because the foam that we were steaming was an older type foam that wasn't as good as the foam today. The foam today is such a high density, a good quality foam, it lasts a good long time. And I've never, now that it's funny you should ask this question, Robert, I've never seen this foam where it either needs to be steam cleaned or could be steam cleaned if it needed it. Does that make any sense? I don't know. I don't think steam cleaning that good foam, that high density foam, is possible, but I haven't tried it honestly, but I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it degrade to that point. The older foam used to, and you used to be able to put the steam on it and it would puff right back out. It's kind of cool. Yeah, so I know what you mean.
Jimmy says, I'm hearing about using glue in some applications. When is a good time to use that, if at all?
Is he talking about hot glue or regular glue?
Doesn't mention.
Okay, I don't know what the application is, but we use it to put piping on, double piping specifically, not single piping. Single piping sometimes if there's a groove and you can drop the pipe in with the glue, yes, yeah. Elmer's glue sometimes I use. Actually, I'm going to show you in a minute. Actually, now that Jimmy's asked that question, I'm just going to show you before I get to the outside back. I'm going to rough up. Let's say you got a cat, and the cat does a little like that. See that right there, Michaela? So Jimmy's asking about glue, so I'll show that now. So we're going to take a little of the white Elmer's glue, and we're just going to dab it in there. Got to get my prop guy to. There we go. Oh, too much. I don't want to put that much. Just what you want to do is just dab the end of a needle. I'm just going to take some of the glue out, and then kind of work the cut back. Look at that. Actually, that worked out pretty good. You see how you got these little ends? Just try to get underneath the ends, and just hold it. Get underneath the ends, and if you want to take, the glue's going to take a while to dry, but if you want to take a masking tape and just mask tape that, acts like a clamp. And then, boy, in this case, you hardly knew that there was anything there. Okay, so that's another repair, home repair. Everybody has some glue, right? And a needle and scissors. Is there any other questions?
Yes. Sylvia says, when you sew a cushion, do you serge the edges?
It depends on the fabric. Some fabrics need serging. I personally don't like to use a fabric that needs to be serged. Because if it needs to be serged at the seams, you wonder, even on the interior of a cushion, how long it's going to last. So I actually this is really good advice for you guys. I've hand-picked a line of fabric that I don't think there's one in my line that needs to be serged. Usually when you cut my fabric, it doesn't fray at all, and we're making half-inch seams, so it's not an issue. Serging's only an issue when a fabric is honestly not a great fabric. If it's fraying at the ends after you cut it, it probably doesn't have a high double rub test. So beware of fabrics that you need to serge for upholstery. So I guess is there any other questions?
Jimmy says, an example, regular glue to bond foam to Dacron, for example.
So that requires spray glue, not hot glue and not Elmer's glue. You need a spray glue, and you need a specific, I think it's called a 77 spray glue. You can get that in a lot of arts and crafts stores. Be careful that you want to be in a well-ventilated area, Jimmy, unless you like that type of stuff, but I don't know. Keep it away from coconut fiber too. All right, so the next thing I want to show you is look at the arms. The arms are oftentimes the first thing to go on a piece of furniture, or the headpiece there. So you have a fresh piece of fabric to wash. Look, it's almost brand new, right? Because it's up against the wall. And it will remain up against the wall. So I'm going to open this up. And if you want, you can, after this is done, you can get another piece like a muslin and put it back if you want. But for you people at home who don't have the proper equipment, you can cut this. Just cut around this. And if it goes up against the wall, you have no worries, right? Of course, this if it's out in the middle of the floor, you're going to have to replace it with something, right? I need enough to make a couple of arm pieces, so I'm just going to cut it off. So something to do at home, right guys? You know, the other thing you could do, I was just thinking while I'm cutting this, if you have a chair that you want to coordinate a sofa with, you can cut this out and make a throw pillow out of it too. That would be cool. Kind of tie the room in. And of course you have to replace this. And you can see some of my videos, I have how to replace an outside back. So you can reference my YouTube videos to see how to do that. Of course you do need tools. What I'm trying to do here mainly is to show people who are limited, especially if they can't get out, right? So now you have a piece of brand new fabric. What do you do with it? Well, you can cut it square and make a beautiful headpiece. You don't even have to, some fabrics, just cut it square and there you got a new piece right there, and you can pin it. If you don't have even if you don't have a sewing machine, it's better than that, right? Look at that. Look at the difference, right? Okay, but if you have a sewing machine, cut it and then hem it down, right? Hem it down. Have a neighbor help you do it. If they have a sewing machine, have them do it. Okay, so what do you do about an arm cap? The simple way on an arm cap, same thing. Let me just cut this down a little bit more just to show you. If you don't have a sewing machine, you just have your scissors. You can just make it square like so. And again, it's better than having the dirt, right? You do that on both sides. If you have a sewing machine, definitely a hem is better, right? Now, if you really want to get ambitious, well, look what I found. They actually had arm caps on this. And I'm just about to show you how to do an arm cap. So you take your arm, take your fabric, and just pull this back here. Just trace the front of this arm out. Right. For those you who will get more ambitious and have a sewing machine, I guess. Right? And then sew this piece on to here, backwards, right? And you have an arm cap that looks like this. And you can hem it, when you're done, you hem it like this is hemmed. Wow, these were big. I suspect that these arm caps were made for something else because they look really big, don't they? That looks like a sofa arm cap, but hey, it's better than that, right? So what else? If you have some piping that's been damaged. Do we have any other questions before I move on?
Just comments.
Okay, we'll take the comments.
Robert says spray glue Dacron to foam, especially on the front of foam, keeps it from sliding around.
Yep.
Sylvia says sunbrella is bad with the fraying.
Yeah.
Is it recommended?
Yeah. Sunbrella is great on outdoor. We have a sign. Our sign is in sunbrella, and it's just one seam. It's not, nobody's sitting on it, and it's lasted for 10 years. But I think when you look at upholstery, you're looking at the weight of a person sitting on a cushion where it's always, flexing back and forth. And keep in mind, there are different grades of sunbrella. People just think there's one sunbrella. No, there's different grades, definitely. I've seen it. So I think you definitely have to serge that, serge the seams on that if this is fraying. But yeah, it's versatile. It stands up to the rain and everything, but it might not do so good on seams. So it's another misconception about outdoor furniture. To me, outdoor padded upholstery furniture, there's no such thing. Because you can use the best fabric and the best monofilament thread and still end up with the, I'm talking about New England, a season in New England with the acid rain. I've seen 1 or 2 seasons and the seams are starting to fall apart. It's amazing what the weather can do to upholstered furniture. So I would tell all my clients, if they want me to make these outdoor cushions, they have to be taken in, or you need to get a container and put them in, and you have to be careful not to leave them out in the rain at all. So I hope that answers. That's why boat cushions are always being redone, right? Because especially the salt really does a number. Salt water does more of a number on cushions. Is there any other questions?
No, not right now.
Okay.
Let's go. Terry says Sombrella fabric does wonderfully when cut with a hot knife. That's interesting.
Ooh, that's a good
Hot
idea.
knife,
I did want to mention now if Pennywise is watching, because I think he's a commercial upholsterer, right? But he does more commercial work. So if you went into his shop, you come into my shop, I'm a custom upholsterer and I reupholsterer. So I'll have a can of glue. I don't use that much either. But in his shop, he'd have these big compressed glue. He has glue that in big bottles that he sprays.
He seemed to have everything, huh?
Yeah, that it's a different, commercial upholstery is much different than custom upholstery or reupholstery. It's a bigger operation. They're usually dealing in larger numbers, the more repetitive work, but very challenging. You have to be very youthful and very in good shape to be a commercial upholsterer and a real go-getter. But that I should mention, that end of the business, if you're young and you're ambitious like Lucas out there, you might want to be directed into that type of a business rather than residential upholstery. But residential upholstery though has been good for me. But I've been doing it a long time, very well known in the area. Now, especially after this is all done, you guys, we're going to recover from this, and can you imagine we're going to get a lot of new restaurants. Unfortunately, the restaurants business is the first one to get hit by this. But can you imagine how many restaurants are going to be looking for upholsterers to redo their furniture? And I mean, if you're going to open up a new restaurant or a new bar, a new pub, whatever, you're going to want to redo the whole what's there. So you guys get moving and watch these videos. Start learning more about commercial upholstery. I'm not going to get into that honestly. Might get into a little bit of it, but not as much as Pennywise would up in Canada. All right, Patrick?
I just want to say, guys, thank you so much. There's so many comments today. They just keep coming. It's awesome.
Well, we love the comments. I just want to show one more thing.
We have a few comments there on Michaela wants to.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Monique says, hi there from Amsterdam.
Oh, hi.
Projects are elsewhere, so reading and watching your videos to be prepared. Ashdown says, slightly off topic, sometime in the future I must get the dimensions of that trestle that your toolbox is on. 2 of those are way better than a bench.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I never knew that was another name for them.
Actually, you know what? Let's just give it the dimensions now, because a few people have been asking about this. I'll close out with this, with the dimensions. I'm just going to measure it for our friend in Ireland, right? I'm going to bring it around. These were custom made for me by a woodworker, and they are really solid. Really solid. They're made of ash. Okay, so I'm gonna measure the top outside. And by the way, a very, very unique feature. And you're not gonna find this. Home Depot has these horses once in a while that are they're tough. They're not good. the legs come out too far, so you're constantly tripping on them. They don't have the well. The well is everything on these. The well is everything. So make the well separately if you want, and you can place it on top. But you're looking for the dimensions, the raw dimensions, so I'm going to give those to you. They're very specific. They're thigh high for a reason, because the furniture that you put on will become like that wing chair. The seat will be right about here, so it's a perfect height, at least for me. I have a smaller set of horses for smaller people. But this is perfect for me. So I'm going to go from the well, from the outside to the outside, 38 inches length. Width is 7 inches. And the well itself should be, this is an inch. So the reason the well's important is if you have a sofa, a heavy sofa, you put the legs in and it won't fall off. That's really important. So any other horse that you see for woodworking is not going to have this well. It's just flat on the top. So this is really important. Okay, so the height is also 28 inches. Let's move it this way and show you the leg separation at the bottom. We'll call it 16, and it's a tad up top here to the side of the well, right? And then very important, don't forget this part, the little shelf on the bottom, which actually acts as, you can put tools there, and also it strengthens the overall horse. So this is 5 inches by, would be the length. So it's coming out to 28, okay? So that's the inside. I think I got all the measurements. I hope that helps. So the thing about these horses, I just want to mention, don't make your spread on the bottom, this is really important, more than this 16 inches, because if you do, you're constantly tripping over the leg. And these benches also are good. I'm just going to close out with this, unless there's any other comments. So you can make, let's pretend this is a board, okay? You got your 2 horses. When you're doing smaller projects, you got a padded board, you put it on top, and you can work on your padded board. So this is really good, and really, what you're looking for in any shop when you're working is you have to be comfortable all the way around. If you've got enough room all the way around the piece of furniture that you're using, it's nothing worse than getting your legs tripped up on the bottom. So I guess that's a good tip for today. If there's no other questions.
Also, I mentioned Gina says she's making face masks.
Gina?
Yeah, Gina Howe.
Yeah, we may, depending on how long this is going to be sustained, we may do the same thing, Patrick. So we're thinking about that. The problem we have here, be careful with the fabric that you use. I did look into this a little bit. So the fabrics that we use in upholstery, if it's treated with the flame retardant, you can't use it for face masks. So you have to be careful. So every scrap of fabric I have at the shop here is an upholstery fabric that's been treated. So I can't use it. So they're looking for 100% cottons. Now some of the furniture fabric companies around here have been very, very receptive to this. They've been very good. I think one of our local fabric companies is even offering a free supplies as long as it lasts, so that's good. So the main things you need if you're going to be doing this are there's plenty of YouTube tutorials on this, by the way, that I think are really good. The 2 main ingredients are the elastic and also the 100% cotton fabric. So good for you, keep it up. I understand they're in real demand, although there's been a little bit of a back and forth with the face mask usage, but I guess that shouldn't stop you from making them, so especially if you have some spare time here. So thanks a lot. Is there no more questions or answers or comments?
I mean, they keep coming, but
should we keep going?
I'll tell you what, this is the record today. We've reached 19 viewers.
Should we keep going, Patrick, for a little while?
It's up to you.
Well, as long as there are questions coming in, we'll keep going. So are there any more?
Yeah, how about we go for another 15 minutes to 4:45? We can go to.
Okay, so you just keep asking while I show something else here. So you take your fabric off of a typical chair. It's about a yard of fabric. It's not a full width of fabric, but it's about a yard, more than a yard running this way. So that gives you. You can do arm caps and you can do a headpiece, and it gives you fabric in case you need to do other repairs like around piping. Okay, so let's say this is more of a difficult repair. People ask all the time, and on a cushion, Yeah, I guess you could do the same thing on a cushion, but it'd be easier if it's a fixed area like this. So let me just do some damage first, because this one needs a little. So let's say that usually this is the problem area. Somewhere around there. So let's say you got a problem like that. You can take your fabric. I don't know if I can do this. Let me just get my chair. You have to do a little surgery when you have a problem like this, right? So you have to open up around it. Ideally, you want to clip the stitches that are holding it, right? And you have to try to, if you can, separate the piping like so, right? So admittedly, this is a difficult repair for most people, but the glue is the key. So you could take a little piece of fabric from the outside back. You can cut about a 2-inch piece by, like that. I'm going to narrow it down a little bit. So you just focus on this area. Some fabrics, when you cut it, they don't fray. Look at that. So you don't have to do, some fabrics you're going to have to take a little fold like that and put it over the piping, but on this one here you can just kind of insert it like so. Because this is a very basic repair. I'm just trying to show people at home who may be struggling with just very limited tools. You could kind of like insert it like so. And then you could take a hot glue and hot glue this side and then trim this down. If you don't have hot glue, you can use armrest glue. Stick it in there.
We have a question.
Okay.
This is from Deborah, who also says hi from Kustia.
Idaho.
Idaho.
Just wondering differences between working on a bench versus a table.
A table. See this table I have? It depends on the height of the table. So let's just finish this. Let me just finish that up. So you could do little things, little repairs like that. So table height, if it's the same table height as these horses, which this one is. But the other thing that you need to consider, most tables to me, like fold-up tables, they're only 24 inches wide. When you let me just hold on one second. Let me get my table over here. My favorite padded table. Hold on. This is my favorite table. This is my favorite table right here. Goes on top of my horses. And I want to just flip it around to show you how many times. This is funny, you guys. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think there's another one. 5. I have 5 layers of fabric on this. And I'm doing that because they get dirty. The fabric gets dirty. But it's scrap fabric, So this is my favorite table. So I use this. And the point I'm trying to make is it has to be wide enough in each direction. It has to be more of a square rather than a rectangle. So I got this beautiful table, all padded, and I really am guarded with this. I really make sure that I have no tacks if I'm doing finish work. But watch this. I put this chair up here now. So I know I got plenty of room that it's not going to fall off, and I can spin the chair around. Oftentimes you find me, I'm upholstering, I'm sitting down doing a task down here like this, and I can be flipping the chair around. That's another reason why to have it padded and it's not catching on a piece of wood. On a table, if you have 2 of these, I guess it would work. If you had 2 of these and then make yourself a padded bench like this and put it on top, I would recommend that. Make sure you have plenty of space, just like this. And this is a good height, perfect height for what we do. So a lot of times when we're working on a piece of furniture, I'll just take you through the process really fast. So you're doing your seat, you get your seat upholstery, you're usually standing up, and then when you tag it down here, you're sitting down. Very rarely, you guys should listen, very rarely do I turn a chair like this and staple. I want to make sure that when I'm upholstering, it's how I'm going to be looking or how the customer's going to be looking at the chair. So oftentimes it's like I do the seat, I staple, I get down here to get a better angle on my stapling, okay? Then I'm doing my inside arm, bolster my inside arm. And then when it comes around here, oftentimes I sit down again. So this is my movements, right? So then I do my inside wing. Now when you're doing your inside wing, this is what happens. You come down on the floor, you do the bottom part up on the bench, and then the top part on the floor. So you can see, okay, it goes back up. I do my inside back. I pull it to the bottom. I just come over here and I pin tap back here. I come back this way. See the movements here? And then I do my cutting around here, and I pull my tabs out this way. I secure the whole bottom, and then I take the chair down. Right? It's like aerobics, man. You guys get the benefit of exercise and upholstering, right? And then I staple here. Usually I'm standing up or sitting down when I do that. Make my cuts here, finish my pleat work, make sure they look nice and staple. Okay? Any other questions?
No, just a comment.
So we'll take a comment before I get to the outsides.
Gina says, I have a bunch of apparel cotton. Good to know about upholstery fabric being treated. Thanks.
She has some apparel fabric, did she say?
Yeah.
Oh, that she's using for the masks?
Yeah, I
that's
think
where
so.
that
Yeah.
comment was from, yeah.
So, can you read that again? I'm sorry.
I have a bunch of apparel cotton. Good to know about upholstery fabric being treated.
Yeah. So she's okay, I think, with the apparel. That's 100% cotton.
Sylvia says, thank you for the work you do. Kudos to the people who are helping with the pandemic. Be careful and stay healthy.
Thank you. Thank you. You too. So just to finish up, the next thing would be, after the insides upholstered, would be the arms. So very rarely am I taking my chair and pulling it this way and knocking it down like this, because I want to be able to be a little bit above eye level. So that gets upholstered, and again I'm sitting down, I'm doing the top part, sitting down, finishing up the bottom, making my cuts here, looking at it from here, and stapling, finishing up. I stand up, do my wing. My outside wing is pretty much a stand-up, right? I don't sit down at all. I'm doing all the work. I don't have to put the chair down. And then my outside back, I can do all from standing in the standing position, except down here at the bottom. I'm stapling and pinning. Then the last thing I do is the cambric, and that has to be flipped. But before you flip it, make sure, don't trust your eyes. Make sure that you check very carefully that there are no staples, as everything's been done on the inside. And then the chair gets turned, and then the cambric gets put on. So that's it, you guys. So any other questions before we sign off?
Just once again, that was awesome. A lot of views.
We really appreciate you guys watching. That was a lot. It's most we've done, and we're really happy that we're communicating like this. And I hope that it gives you guys, us being here, helps you, supports you guys, and stay well. And we'll see you next time.
We'll
Thank
be
you.
here every week.
Thank you.